Welcome to the second in our series on safe sales training and marketing. One of the things we want to keep in mind when we're doing safe sales is our customer service skills. The two of them go hand in hand. First, I want to go over the 6 ways to create a memorable customer experience, because this is why your customer keeps coming back to you and not somebody else. The first is our attentiveness to the customer and the customer's needs. Recognition for who they are and personalization of the relationship and how to fit those needs into what the customer is wanting. Deep consideration, appreciation, and the ability to delight the customer. In order to establish a great guest experience, we want to imagine ourselves in our storefront. The customer's just walking in the door. That customer we want to greet within 15 seconds after they enter the store. You do not want to make them feel rushed or rush to them. This can be done from the back of your store, the side of your store, whatever it is that you're doing. And it's as simple as just saying, "Hi, folks, be with you in 2 seconds." No matter what you're doing, everybody wants to be greeted. We want to also personalize each approach based upon the customer. Let's say we're busy. You're the dispatch person for the day. You're dispatching a locksmith on one line, and on the other line, you're talking to a customer. You're now busy. A phone in each ear, and then the customer comes in the front door. The best thing to do at that particular point is make eye contact with that customer, wave at them. You can even hold up one finger and mouth the words, "I'll be with you in just a moment." By doing that, we've greeted the customer, we've got their buy-in that they're important, and that we're going to get to them as soon as we get off the phone. They'll usually nod okay, and this buys you time to finish what you're doing and then to give your undivided attention to that customer. The first words when we greet the customer should always be good morning, good afternoon, good day, whatever it is, but a pleasant greeting. We want to come across also as genuine. Ask open-ended questions that require more than a yes or a no once we begin the conversation with them. We're going to get into one of those questions in just a moment, so get your pencil and paper handy. One of the things we do is build our rapport with our customer base. You want to realize that you have more in common with strangers than most of the time you think. We want to always have a positive attitude towards the customer. Now, if you're like me, every once in a while, a customer gets mad at you on the phone. The locksmith didn't rekey something right, or the key doesn't work properly in the cylinder because they didn't check the cylinders before he left. Things like this do happen, and sometimes a customer can get very, very angry over the phone. You want to release that energy. You want to release that anger or that protection in that customer situation and let it go before you move on to the customer or even answer the next phone line. Because the way you answer the phone can go from "Good morning, how are you doing today?" to "Hello, what do you want?" Because you're already mad about something. So you always want to be aware of your personal emotional situation and then get rid of it. And you want to focus on that customer as if they're the most important person in the world. One of the things to look at when that customer comes in is look at their jewelry, their clothing, their cell phone, their car keys, a logo on a shirt. It can tell us all kinds of things. Let's say they have an NRA shirt on. Well, most likely he's a hunter. he's going to need a gun safe if he doesn't already have one. He may be a collector of guns, so he's looking for a second gun safe. But immediately you can start building that rapport on that. You and I can identify normally something about our customer that you may have in common with just how they look, or how they're dressed, or how they greet you in return. And you want to sincerely compliment with certain questions. One of the things that you want to continually do is think on your feet. As you know, the customer is going to ask a question. You want to process it. You don't have to answer it instantly, but you want to think before you speak. Our object here is to create good memories, because these good memories are going to hook that customer in. They like you. They want to shop with you, and they connected with you. They see you as the expert of security that you are. Use clues that you observe to choose the best subjects, and then build rapport with that customer. You want to always be professional, dress professional. I always suggest wearing uniforms at all times, regardless of your position in the locksmith shop or out in the field. I've always worn a uniform, and it just comes across as much more appreciated by my customers. The next, you want to get them talking, get them opening up to you. So let's put this in perspective. Let's take Mrs. Jones here. Imagine Mrs. Jones has just walked into your store. You introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Zach. What is your name? Mrs. Jones. Well, Miss Jones, what can I help you with today? Or something along those lines. She may be looking for a key. She may be looking for something else. Generally, if they're over staring at the safes, I've got some good questions to ask. They're very good open-ended ones. But you want to create a warm environment, as if they're our guest in our house and not an annoyance. And believe me, our attitude reflects to the customer, because it's real easy to get someone on the phone. You put them on hold. You're cutting a key. Somebody else comes in, and suddenly you feel flustered and swamped, because it just only takes a phone call and one customer, and you're busy. But we don't want to let that attitude of feeling swamped come across as an irritation. Now let's pretend we're busy on the phone. We're going to try that smile and wave technique and signal them that we'll be right with them. They will normally shake their head in agreement and say thank you. They may not say a word, or it may be something really simple, and they kind of interrupt and say, is McDonald's around here? Oh, okay. You can kind of point down the street or wherever it is, and that's a situation that's taken care of. But you always want to make them feel welcomed and let them know that their time is important to you. We want to keep building rapport as we ask open-ended questions. One of the number one open-ended questions to ask in the safe business that we have found is, have you seen anything that you already like? What do we learn by asking that question? One, you know what she is looking for or that she likes. Two, she will tell you where she was, and you can then cater your products based upon that competition. So by asking that question, she may say, well, I was down at Academy or Dick's Sporting Goods or something of that nature, and I was looking at a XYZ brand of safe. If you're familiar, and you should take the time to go to every location that sells safes in your town to get familiar with the other products, because then you can sell against them. But you can then say, okay, she's already been out there. She's already been looking. This is what she's seen. How is my product line different than that product line? You don't want to insult the other products, but it's easy to be able to pull back the curtain on another product in the industry. A couple of things we want to keep in mind. One is she was not completely satisfied with the product that she liked. After all, she didn't buy what she saw. She's come into your location now going, is there something better? Is there something different out there? The number 2 open-ended question that we like. How are you going to be using your safe? Note the word how. This comes across, the answer is going to be something like, well, I've got some guns I'm going to put in it, or I'm going to have some paperwork, a little bit of cash, and a little bit of jewelry. Very common answers. But by asking, how are you going to be using the safe, we haven't said, so how much cash are you going to be putting in it? Wink, wink. And the customer doesn't feel intimidated like you're fixing to come over to my house and rob me. That's always a very personal question. So this is a neat way to get them to open up about how they're going to be using their safe. What do we learn when they answer that question? Is she needing a gun safe? Burglary protection for coins, jewelry, cash? Fireproofing for documents? Customers should be opening up and talking by now as well. We have not been too personal like what you're putting in it. One of the things that we also like to add on to questions like that, again, in the beginning, it's usually, I'm going to be using it for a little bit of cash, a little bit of jewelry, a little bit of paperwork, that sort of thing. I usually turn around and say, when you say things like cash or jewelry, that sends up a red flag in my head. I have a single wedding ring. That's my jewelry collection. However, I have a mother-in-law that's a jewelry collector, and she'll have tens of thousands of dollars in a single ring. And she's been collecting jewelry for decades upon decades. That's what she enjoys. So there's a big difference to be the type of safe that I'm going to need to carry my jewelry in versus what she is going to need to carry her jewelry in. And I'll usually tell a little story somewhere along those lines. And that allows the customer to open up. You can also pick a dollar value. Or is it going to be less or more than $50,000? And they'll usually just open right up and answer and not feel like we are picking at them and wanting an exact dollar amount. One of the important things to realize when Mrs. Jones is there in our store, this generally means she's 75% of the way sold. She's not just kicking tires on a car lot. She's looking to purchase something. Now, she may purchase it at that part, or she may purchase it within the next 2 weeks. But it's your job to guide her through the next 25%. You're going to do that through education. You're going to do that through selling the features and the benefits of certain safes compared to perhaps what she did see and what you have available there in your showroom. This is the end of session 2. We are trying to keep our dealers number 1 in the industry by additional training. If you have questions or want to shoot me an email, please feel free to do so. We like everybody's feedback, and we're going to be developing that feedback into further videos. Thank you so much.